The brain in a vat. Imagine waking up on a morning that seems like any other, but as you slowly open your eyes, there's a quiet whisper inside your head, a gentle, nagging feeling that perhaps everything you know might not be as solid as it appears. You stretch, yawn, and get out of bed, your mind already buzzing with the day's routine, a hot cup of coffee, the sound of birds outside your window, and the familiar weight of your thoughts. Yet, as you go about these familiar motions, that small whisper lingers, asking you to consider something extraordinary. What if the world you see, hear, and feel isn't the complete truth? What if every color, every sound, every texture is not an unassailable fact, but a carefully constructed illusion? It's a notion that feels both unnerving and strangely captivating, a gentle invitation to question the everyday. At first, you might dismiss it with a laugh, thinking it's just a silly daydream. After all, you have trusted your senses all your life, they've never steered you wrong before. You know the warmth of sunlight on your face, the rustle of leaves in the wind, and the comforting hum of everyday life. But sometimes, when the world is quiet and your mind is open, that question creeps back in. Could it be that what you've always believed to be real is just a part of a grander illusion? Imagine, for a moment, that your brain isn't nestled safely in your skull, experiencing the world through a reliable network of senses, but is instead floating in a clear, sterile jar. In this jar, your brain is kept alive by a mysterious liquid, and slender cables connected to an enormous computer that sends it signals, images, sounds, and sensations. Every memory you cherish, every experience you hold dear, none of it is coming from the world outside. Instead, it is all a sophisticated simulation, a stream of carefully orchestrated impulses designed to make you believe that you are living a full, rich life. This thought, known as the brain in a vat scenario, might sound like something ripped straight from a science fiction movie, yet it taps into one of the oldest and most persistent questions in philosophy. How do we know what is real? Think of it like watching your favorite movie in a theater. While you're engrossed in the story, you laugh at the jokes, cry at the sad moments, and feel a rush of excitement during the action scenes. Even though you know it's all just a series of images projected onto a screen, for those precious 2 hours, the movie becomes your reality. Now, consider that every moment of your life might be like that movie, a beautiful, immersive narrative that feels real, even if behind the scenes, nothing is quite as it seems. As you sip your coffee and glance out the window, you notice the play of light on the leaves, the gentle sway of the branches, and the distant hum of traffic. All of these details seem indisputable, undeniable evidence of the external world. Yet, the brain in a vat thought experiment asks a profound question. Can you be absolutely sure that these experiences are not just a sophisticated simulation? It challenges the idea that our senses are infallible, reminding us that even the most reliable systems can be deceived under the right circumstances. In our everyday life, we rely on our senses like a trusted friend. We believe that what we see and hear is the truth, just as we trust that a mirror reflects our image accurately. But mirrors, as we know, can sometimes distort or even trick us. Think of funhouse mirrors that elongate or shrink your reflection. The brain in a vat scenario is like a cosmic funhouse mirror, showing us a reflection of reality that might be altered in ways we cannot easily detect. It suggests that if our brains are capable of interpreting electrical signals as the world, then what if those signals are being manipulated by an unseen hand? This possibility might seem far-fetched, but it serves a very important purpose. It makes us realize how much we depend on our senses without truly questioning them. Even the most ordinary things, the sound of rain, the scent of fresh bread, the vibrant hues of a sunset, could be the work of an elaborate computer program running in a hidden lab somewhere. It's a bit like playing a video game where every element, from the characters to the landscapes, is meticulously rendered by a programmer. You know the game isn't real in the traditional sense, yet when you're immersed in it, every sensation feels genuine. And if technology can create convincing digital worlds, why can't it create a whole reality that your brain accepts without question? This idea brings us to a deeper understanding of what it means to experience something. Our experiences are not just passive recordings of an external world, they are active constructions of our minds. Every sight, sound, and smell is filtered through our own perceptions, molded by our previous experiences, emotions, and expectations. When you see a red apple on a table, you don't just see its color and shape, you associate it with memories of eating apples, with the taste of sweetness or tartness, and even with the symbolic meanings that apples might carry. All of these layers come together to form your experience of that apple. Now, imagine if the very signals that create that experience were being fed to you by a machine rather than coming from an actual apple on a tree. Would your experience be any less rich, any less valid? That's the profound challenge posed by the brain in a vat thought experiment. It asks us to consider that our understanding of reality is not as objective as we might hope. There's a comfort in believing that our senses give us a direct window into the world, that the things we see and feel are the undeniable truth. But what if that window is merely a screen, and behind it lies a world more mysterious and complex than we ever imagined? Picture your favorite memory. Maybe it's a day spent laughing with friends, or a quiet afternoon reading in a sunny park. Now, imagine that every detail of that memory, from the sound of laughter to the warmth of the sunlight, is not a spontaneous creation of the universe, but a carefully designed simulation. It might feel unsettling to think that the experiences you hold dear could be nothing more than programmed responses, yet this very possibility opens up an exciting avenue for exploration. It encourages you to question the nature of truth and to appreciate the incredible complexity of the mind that constructs it. As you sit quietly, contemplating these ideas, you might begin to see parallels in other areas of your life. Consider the way advertisements and movies create emotional responses. A well-crafted commercial can make you feel an inexplicable longing, a sudden rush of happiness, or even a twinge of sadness, all in just a few seconds. These emotional responses are triggered by carefully designed images and sounds, tailored to evoke a specific reaction. In a similar vein, the brain in a VAT scenario suggests that every aspect of your perceived reality, every emotion, every thought, could be the result of signals sent to your brain by some unknown source. It's a humbling thought, one that reminds you of the delicate balance between perception and reality. This line of thinking is not meant to drive you into despair or paranoia, rather, it is an invitation to marvel at the wonders of consciousness. It's a call to appreciate that your ability to experience the world, whether real or simulated, is a testament to the incredible complexity of the human mind. Even if there is a possibility that your brain is floating in a vat somewhere, receiving signals from a hidden computer, that fact does not diminish the beauty of your experiences. Instead, it invites you to see your life as a grand, unfolding mystery, a puzzle to be explored with curiosity and wonder. Imagine yourself as an explorer in a vast, uncharted territory. Every day, you navigate through landscapes that are familiar yet subtly mysterious. The trees, the sky, the sound of the wind, they all serve as clues in a grand investigation into the nature of existence. The brain in a VAT thought experiment is like a map that challenges you to look beyond the surface, to search for hidden meanings and unexpected connections. It doesn't demand that you abandon the comforts of your daily routine, but it gently nudges you to ask questions, to seek out the layers beneath the obvious. There is a profound freedom in embracing uncertainty. When you allow yourself to entertain the possibility that your reality might be a constructed illusion, you free your mind from the strict boundaries of certainty. This freedom opens the door to creativity, to the kind of imaginative thinking that has led to some of the greatest discoveries in art, science, and philosophy. It is like stepping into a vast open field where the rules of the game are not set in stone, where you are invited to create your own path and define your own truth. In that field, every experience is a chance to learn something new, every sensation a doorway to deeper understanding. At the same time, this idea can be deeply unsettling. It challenges the very core of who you are, shaking the foundation of your identity and the trust you place in your own senses. The thought that your perceptions might be manipulated by forces beyond your control can leave you feeling vulnerable, as if the secure ground beneath your feet is shifting. But there is also a kind of beauty in this vulnerability. It is a reminder that life, in all its complexity, is an endless journey of discovery. Every moment of doubt, every question that arises, is an invitation to grow, to expand your understanding of yourself and the world around you. Think about a time when you were completely absorbed in a story, a book that transported you to another world, a movie that made your heart race, or a conversation that sparked a cascade of new ideas. In those moments, you were living in a state of suspended disbelief, allowing yourself to be swept away by the magic of the narrative. The brain in a that thought experiment operates in much the same way. It asks you to suspend your disbelief, to consider that the ordinary, everyday experiences you take for granted might be the product of a hidden, intricate design. And in doing so, it transforms the mundane into something extraordinary, a canvas on which your imagination can run wild. Even as you consider this possibility, you are reminded of the resilience of the human spirit. For centuries, philosophers have wrestled with the nature of reality, seeking to understand whether what we perceive is the whole truth or just a fraction of a larger mystery. Their inquiries, though abstract at times, have led to profound insights about the nature of consciousness, the limits of human knowledge, and the beauty of uncertainty. Each question, each doubt, is a stepping stone on the path to deeper understanding. And while the idea that your brain might be in a vat is, at its heart, a challenge to everything you know, it is also a celebration of the endless curiosity that makes you human. Imagine now that you are standing on the edge of a calm lake at dusk, the water smooth like glass, reflecting the colors of the fading sky. In that serene moment, you allow yourself to drift into thought, letting the gentle ripples of possibility wash over you. You begin to see that the notion of a simulated reality does not have to be a source of fear, but can instead be a wellspring of wonder. It is a reminder that the world, however it is constructed, is a place of infinite complexity, a mosaic of experiences that, when pieced together, create the rich tapestry of your life. In this state of quiet reflection, you may start to question the very nature of truth. How can you be sure that the world is as it seems? Is there a way to prove that your senses are reliable, or is that proof itself a construct of your mind? These questions, though challenging, are part of the natural process of exploration and discovery. They encourage you to look beyond the surface, to dig deeper into the layers of your experience, and to appreciate the intricate interplay between perception and reality. Even if the thought of a brain floating in a vat seems like a far-off fantasy, it serves as a powerful metaphor for the human condition. It tells you that what you experience is not always as straightforward as it appears, that there is always more beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered. It is like a secret code that hints at hidden dimensions of existence, dimensions that are not immediately obvious, yet are no less real because they lie just beyond the reach of your senses. In the gentle unfolding of this mystery, you begin to realize that life is not a rigid, unchanging script, but an open invitation to wonder and question. Every moment, every sensation, is an opportunity to learn something new about yourself and the world around you. The idea that your brain might be receiving its signals from a mysterious source does not diminish the beauty of your experiences. Instead, it enriches them, adding a layer of depth to the everyday. It is as if the world is whispering a secret to you, a secret that, once heard, forever changes the way you see things. There is a certain grace in acknowledging that uncertainty is a part of life. Like a painter who works with a palette of ever-changing hues, you learn that truth is not fixed, but fluid, shifting with each new experience and every moment of introspection. It is this fluidity that gives life its richness and complexity, its endless capacity to surprise and inspire. Even if you never find a definitive answer to the question of what is truly real, the act of seeking, of questioning, is itself a testament to the strength and beauty of the human spirit. As you continue on this journey of thought, you may come to see that the brain in a vat scenario is not meant to lead you into despair, but to open your eyes to the limitless possibilities of existence. It is an invitation to reimagine what reality can be, to break free from the confines of conventional thinking, and to embrace a world where every moment is filled with potential and wonder. In this expansive view, the familiar becomes extraordinary, and the ordinary transforms into an adventure waiting to unfold. In the quiet spaces between your thoughts, you sense a deep, underlying connection between the ideas of uncertainty and creativity. Just as a seed buried in the soil holds the promise of a magnificent tree, the very act of questioning your reality plants the seeds of new understanding. It is a process that takes time, a gradual unfolding of insights, like petals slowly opening to reveal the beauty within. And though the path may be winding and full of unexpected turns, each step brings you closer to a richer, more nuanced appreciation of life. As the day unfolds and you go about your routine, that gentle whisper of doubt remains, quietly urging you to look deeper. You notice that sometimes, when you catch a fleeting glimpse of a shadow or hear the rustle of leaves in a way that seems almost otherworldly, you feel that same stirring of wonder. It is as if the universe is winking at you, offering a reminder that reality is far more mysterious and enchanting than it appears on the surface. There is a profound liberation in accepting that you might never fully know the truth of your existence. Instead of clinging to a rigid idea of what is real, you learn to dance with uncertainty, to let it guide you as you explore the vast, uncharted territories of your mind. This dance is both delicate and daring, a constant balancing act between the comfort of familiarity and the exhilarating thrill of discovery. And in that dance, you begin to realize that the true magic of life lies not in the certainty of answers, but in the endless quest for meaning. In those quiet moments of introspection, as you watch the interplay of light and shadow on a familiar street, you might feel a gentle curiosity stirring within you, a desire to understand the deeper forces that shape your experience. The brain in a vat thought experiment, with all its wild and imaginative possibilities, becomes a tool for that inquiry. It is not meant to strip away the joy of your everyday life, but to add another layer of wonder to it. It tells you that even if everything you see is the result of a grand, orchestrated display of signals, that very display is a marvel of nature, a testament to the incredible complexity and mystery of existence. As you let these ideas simmer in your mind, you start to see that the boundaries between what is real and what is imagined are not as clear as they once seemed. The world, with all its beauty and chaos, is a mosaic of perceptions, a tapestry woven from threads of memory, emotion, and sensory input. And while it might be tempting to believe that this tapestry is fixed and immutable, the truth is that it is always in the process of being created, reshaped, and reimagined with every breath you take. In the end, whether your brain is nestled safely inside your skull or floating in a vat somewhere, the beauty of your experience remains undeniable. The sensations you cherish, the memories that warm your heart, and the dreams that fuel your imagination are all real to you. And that reality, however it is constructed, is a part of the grand story of who you are. It is a story filled with questions and surprises, with moments of doubt and bursts of clarity, a story that continues to unfold with every passing day. So as you move forward, let yourself be guided by the gentle thrill of inquiry. Embrace the possibility that nothing is ever as simple as it appears, and let that thought inspire you to explore the hidden depths of your own consciousness. In every sunrise, every whispered word, and every subtle shift in the wind, there is a reminder that life is a journey of endless wonder, a journey where every moment is an invitation to see the world with fresh eyes and an open heart. In this expansive view, you realize that the brain in a vat thought experiment is not a source of terror, but a celebration of the infinite potential of the human mind. It challenges you to question, to imagine, and to create, a call to step beyond the boundaries of ordinary thought and into a realm where the lines between reality and illusion blur into a beautiful, ever-changing dance of ideas. And in that dance, you discover that the true essence of life is not found in the answers you cling to, but in the questions you dare to ask. As the day turns to evening and you find yourself reflecting on these thoughts in the quiet of your room, you feel a sense of calm acceptance wash over you. The uncertainties that once seemed daunting now appear as gentle invitations, opportunities to learn, to grow, and to view the world as a canvas of endless possibility. Every sensation, every fleeting moment, is a brushstroke in the masterpiece of your life, each one contributing to a picture that is as unique and extraordinary as you are. In that reflective silence, you understand that while the notion of a brain in a vat might shake the very foundations of your belief, it also serves as a reminder of the marvel of consciousness. It is a testament to the power of the mind to create, to imagine, and to transform even the most ordinary of moments into something magical. And as you let these ideas settle into the quiet corners of your thoughts, you feel a renewed sense of wonder for the mysterious, beautiful, and ever-elusive nature of reality. Ultimately, whether or not your brain is floating in a vat, the experiences that define you remain vibrant and true. The laughter of a friend, the warmth of a hug, the taste of your favorite food, these moments are yours to cherish, regardless of their origin. They are the living proof of your journey through a world that is as perplexing as it is delightful. And in that realization, you find a quiet strength, a deep, abiding appreciation for the complex interplay of reality, perception, and the endless capacity of the human heart to embrace the unknown. As you close your eyes tonight, let your mind wander freely through these thoughts. Imagine the possibilities, feel the gentle pulse of wonder, and allow yourself to be both the observer and the creator of your own magnificent reality. In this interplay of doubt and belief, you are invited to discover not just what is real, but what is possible, a world where every question is a doorway, every mystery a chance to grow, and every experience a vibrant note in the symphony of life. Ethical dilemmas, trolley problem and ticking time bomb. Imagine a moment when you suddenly find yourself in a situation where every choice feels like a tightrope walk over a chasm of uncertainty. Picture yourself standing beside a railway track as a runaway train barrels toward a group of people, their faces calm in the midday sun, completely unaware of the looming danger. In your hand, you grasp a lever, a simple tool that promises to divert the train onto a different track. But on that alternate track stands a lone figure, isolated yet very much human. In that split second, your heart races and your mind scrambles to decide, do you let fate take its course, allowing the train to continue on its deadly path and sacrifice many, or do you pull the lever, actively changing the outcome even if it means sacrificing one life? This is the essence of what many call the trolley problem, a puzzle that forces us to weigh numbers against feelings, duty against personal morality, and the cold calculus of utilitarian reasoning against the warm pang of empathy. It is a question that does not yield easy answers and invites us to think deeply about what is truly right. As you stand there, you might recall moments from your own life when decisions were not as clear-cut as they seemed. Perhaps there was a time when you had to choose between following a rule and doing what felt inherently compassionate. Maybe you remember a day when a friend's need collided with your own plans, and you had to decide whether to help even if it meant sacrificing your own comfort. In these small, everyday dilemmas, much like in the dramatic scenario before you, you find yourself forced to ask, what does it really mean to do the right thing? The trolley problem is not just a distant, abstract thought experiment, it mirrors the ethical puzzles that emerge in our daily lives, challenges that can shake the very foundations of our understanding of justice and responsibility. Now, let us step away from the train tracks and imagine another scenario, one that is no less heart-wrenching but takes on a more urgent tone. Imagine a ticking clock, each second echoing like a drumbeat in a silent room, reminding you that time is running out. In this scenario, you are told that a bomb is planted somewhere in a crowded place, and the clock is winding down toward disaster. You are the only one who seems to have access to critical information, and you must decide whether to take drastic action to prevent a tragedy. In this tense moment, The choices seem equally horrifying: act and possibly sacrifice the rights or even the life of an innocent person, or do nothing and risk the lives of many. This situation, often referred to as the ticking time bomb scenario, pushes us into a realm where moral dilemmas are intertwined with urgency, where the cost of inaction might be measured in lives lost, yet the cost of action might betray the very principles that define who we are. In both these dilemmas, whether it is the runaway train or the bomb ticking ominously in the background, we are confronted with the challenge of choosing between a perceived greater good and an individual loss. At first glance, one might be tempted to count the numbers, 5 lives versus 1 life, and conclude that saving the greater number is the logical choice. However, as you look deeper into the human heart, you realize that life is not merely a tally of numbers, but a collection of stories, emotions, and relationships that defy simple arithmetic. Consider the lone person on the alternate track. Who are they? What is their story? Just as the group of 5 carries its own unique tapestry of hopes and dreams, so does this single individual, whose life might be as rich in meaning as any other. The ethical quandary here is not just about making a decision based on numbers, but about understanding the weight of responsibility that comes with the power to decide someone's fate. This is where the concept of moral responsibility begins to intertwine with personal identity. You might recall a time when you were in a leadership role, or even just a moment of personal crisis where every decision felt laden with meaning. In those moments, you realize that decisions are rarely black and white. They exist in a gray area where every action has rippling consequences. The trolley problem forces us to consider whether actively changing a situation, even for a good reason, makes us morally responsible in a way that passive acceptance might not. Is it worse to pull the lever and directly cause harm, or to let events unfold, even if that inaction results in a greater loss? Such questions have haunted philosophers for decades, inviting endless debate without ever settling on a definitive answer. As you reflect on these ideas, imagine the scene unfolding like a slow-motion movie. The train's rumble grows louder, the faces of the people in its path become more defined, and the ticking of the clock in the bomb scenario grows almost deafening. In your mind's eye, you see flashes of your own experiences, moments when choices were not easy, when the weight of a decision seemed to press down on you like an invisible burden. These reflections serve as a reminder that ethical dilemmas are not just theoretical puzzles discussed in quiet classrooms. They are real challenges that many have faced and will continue to face in life. It is in these moments of high tension, when every second counts and every decision feels like it carries the weight of the world, that the true nature of our moral character is revealed. To better understand these ethical puzzles, consider a simple analogy. Think of a game of chess. In chess, every move you make is calculated, and the consequences of that move can be seen several steps ahead. You know that sacrificing a piece might be necessary to secure a win later on, but each sacrifice comes with its own cost. Similarly, when faced with moral dilemmas like the trolley problem or the ticking time bomb, you are forced to think several moves ahead. You must weigh the immediate harm against the potential benefits, always aware that every decision will alter the state of the board. Yet, unlike chess, where the pieces are lifeless tokens, in real life every decision affects living beings, each with dreams, emotions, and unique stories. This is why the weight of these decisions feels so heavy. The stakes are not merely about winning or losing a game, but about the very fabric of human life. It is also important to note how these scenarios make us confront the limits of our own understanding. When faced with a choice that pits one life against many, our instinct is to want to believe that there is a clear, logical answer, almost as if there were a secret formula that could tell us the right thing to do. Yet, the truth is much more complicated. Our emotions, experiences, and relationships all mix together, clouding what might otherwise be a simple calculation. Think about a time when you had to make a difficult decision. Maybe it was choosing between spending time with a family member or finishing an important project at school. In those moments, your heart and your mind might have tugged in different directions, each pulling you toward a different outcome. That internal tug-of-war is similar to what happens in these ethical dilemmas, only on a much larger and more dramatic scale. As the scenario unfolds in your imagination, you begin to see how the two dilemmas, though seemingly different, share a common thread. In both the trolley problem and the ticking time bomb, the very act of making a decision forces you to confront the reality that there is no perfect choice. Every option carries with it a burden, a consequence that will ripple out into the future. And as you stand at the crossroads, you might feel a profound sense of vulnerability, an awareness that sometimes, even the most well-intentioned choices can lead to outcomes that haunt you long after the moment has passed. Imagine now that you are not alone in facing these dilemmas. Across history, people from all walks of life, philosophers, scientists, and everyday citizens, have wrestled with these questions. Their debates and discussions form a kind of shared human experience, a collective attempt to make sense of a world where certainty is elusive and every action has consequences. In quiet conversations over dinner tables or heated debates in academic halls, these ideas have been passed down from generation to generation, each person adding their own perspective to the mix. It is this ongoing dialogue that has enriched our understanding of morality, even if it has not provided a single, definitive answer. One way to think about these ethical puzzles is to imagine them as mirrors reflecting our own inner conflicts. Just as a mirror shows us our outward appearance, these dilemmas force us to confront our inner values, fears, and hopes. They challenge us to ask, what kind of person do I want to be? And how do I balance my own well-being with the needs of others? These are not questions with easy answers, and they often lead us to unexpected places within ourselves. You might remember a time when you had to stand up for what you believed in, even if it meant going against the crowd. In that moment, you likely discovered a strength or conviction that you never knew you had. Similarly, when faced with the trolley problem or the ticking time bomb, you are invited to explore the depths of your own character, to find the courage to make a decision even in the face of uncertainty. There is a beauty in the struggle of these dilemmas, a kind of quiet poetry in the way they reveal the complexity of human life. They teach us that morality is not a fixed set of rules carved in stone, but a living, breathing process that evolves with every new experience. When you think about the choices you make each day, big or small, you begin to understand that every action is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. Some strokes are bold and decisive, while others are soft and tentative. Yet, together they create a picture that is uniquely yours, a portrait of a person who has grappled with the world's uncertainties and emerged with a deeper sense of self. In the midst of these reflections, you might ask yourself how you can ever be sure that you are making the right choice. The truth is that certainty is a rare luxury in a world filled with unpredictable twists and turns. Instead of striving for absolute certainty, perhaps the real lesson lies in learning to live with ambiguity, in embracing the idea that sometimes, the best we can do is make the most thoughtful decision possible given the circumstances. This is not an excuse for inaction or indecision, but rather an acknowledgement of the inherent messiness of life, a recognition that even our best efforts may lead to outcomes that we cannot fully control. Consider the gentle art of gardening. When you plant a seed, you do not know exactly how the flower will bloom or what shape it will take. You care for it, nurture it, and then let nature take its course, accepting that there are factors beyond your control. In much the same way, when faced with ethical dilemmas, you must tend to your values, water your conscience, and trust that even if the outcome is uncertain, your effort to do what is right will leave a lasting impact. Just as a gardener learns through seasons of trial and error, so too do we learn from the difficult choices we make, each decision a small lesson that helps us grow into wiser, more compassionate individuals. Throughout history, many leaders and thinkers have wrestled with these exact questions. They have written books, delivered speeches, and engaged in debates that echo the same struggle you might feel when standing before that runaway train or listening to the relentless ticking of a bomb. Their stories remind us that ethical dilemmas are not modern inventions but age-old challenges that have shaped the course of humanity. From the ancient philosophers in dusty academies to modern-day activists fighting for justice, the quest to understand right and wrong has been a constant companion on our journey through life. Imagine sitting around a campfire with a group of friends, the warm glow of the fire reflecting in your eyes as you share stories of times when you had to make tough choices. Perhaps someone recounts a moment when they had to decide whether to speak up for someone in trouble, even though it might have put them in harm's way. Others might share experiences of regret or relief, each story weaving together into a tapestry of shared human experience. In those moments, you realize that while the choices may be difficult, they are also what give life its rich texture, each decision a thread in the fabric of who we are. As you continue to ponder these dilemmas, the ticking time bomb scenario begins to merge with the trolley problem in your mind, forming a single, intricate picture of ethical decision-making. In one instance, the urgency of the ticking clock forces you to act quickly, to make a snap judgment under pressure. In the other, the slow, deliberate weighing of consequences in the trolley problem invites careful reflection. Yet both situations demand that you take responsibility for your actions, that you accept that every choice has a cost. And while it might seem easier to simply let events unfold without interference, deep down you know that passivity carries its own moral weight, a quiet complicity in the unfolding tragedy. Imagine now that you have taken a step back from these scenarios and are watching them play out like scenes in a movie. You see the tension in a person's face as they approach the lever, the sweat on their brow as they weigh their options. You hear the soft murmur of internal debates, the push and pull of emotion and reason. In that moment, you realize that the real challenge is not in finding a perfect solution but in learning to live with the consequences of your choices. Every decision, no matter how small, leaves an imprint on your soul, a reminder that the journey of life is as much about the questions we ask as it is about the answers we find. This journey into ethical dilemmas is not meant to leave you feeling paralyzed by indecision or overwhelmed by the complexity of life's challenges. Instead, it is an invitation to embrace the beauty of uncertainty, to recognize that the process of questioning is what makes us human. When you allow yourself to grapple with these difficult choices, you begin to see that the world is not a place of simple right and wrong, but a vast, intricate landscape where every decision is a step along a winding path. And even if you never find a definitive answer, the act of questioning opens up new vistas of understanding and empathy, both for yourself and for those around you. In the quiet moments that follow these intense reflections, you might find yourself drawn to a simple truth, that our lives are defined not by the certainty of our actions, but by the courage to choose in the face of uncertainty. Like a painter who dips their brush into a palette of countless colors, you too have the opportunity to shape your destiny with each decision you make. And while the choices may sometimes lead to pain or regret, they also offer the promise of growth, of learning, and ultimately, of becoming a more compassionate and thoughtful human being. As you let these ideas settle in your mind, imagine the world around you as a vast, open field where every step is a choice and every breath a chance to redefine what is right. In this field, the runaway train and the ticking bomb are not isolated challenges but symbols of the everyday decisions that shape our lives. They remind us that even in the simplest moments, a kind word, a gentle gesture, or a brave stand against injustice, we are constantly engaging in acts of moral significance. And though we may never fully resolve the puzzles that these scenarios present, the very act of trying to understand them enriches our lives in ways that go far beyond the boundaries of any single moment. In the end, the true lesson of these ethical dilemmas is not that there is a clear answer waiting to be discovered, but that the journey of questioning itself is a powerful force for change. It is a call to look deeply into our hearts, to listen carefully to the quiet voice of our conscience, and to trust that even in the face of overwhelming uncertainty, we have the strength to choose our path. Whether you find yourself pulling a lever, racing against time, or simply sitting in quiet contemplation, remember that every choice is a part of the grand tapestry of life, a tapestry woven from threads of doubt, courage, and the unyielding quest for truth. This thought, this challenge, is not meant to drive you into a spiral of endless worry. Instead, it is an invitation to engage with the world in a more meaningful way, to see each decision not as a burden, but as an opportunity to learn more about yourself and the values that guide you. And as you move forward, you may find that the process of questioning, of wrestling with difficult choices, becomes a source of inner strength, a quiet assurance that no matter how complicated life may seem, you are capable of making a difference. Even as the images of the runaway train and the ticking bomb fade into the background, their lessons linger like an echo in your mind, a reminder that the ethical challenges we face are as old as time, yet as fresh as the dawn of each new day. In the soft light of morning, when the world awakens and the possibilities seem endless, you carry with you the understanding that every moment is a chance to shape your destiny, to forge connections, and to create a world that reflects the very best of who we are. As you take a deep breath and step away from these imagined scenarios, let yourself feel a quiet resolve, a determination to embrace the uncertainty of life and to cherish the moments when even the hardest choices lead to unexpected growth. Know that every decision, every struggle, is part of a larger journey, a journey that ultimately brings us closer to understanding not just the world around us, but the intricate, beautiful depths of our own hearts. Imagine that after those heavy moments of choice and reflection, you find yourself in a quiet, dim room where every sound seems amplified, a room where even the whisper of the wind outside reminds you of the fragile nature of every decision you make. In this space, the echoes of the runaway train and the relentless ticking of that ominous bomb slowly fade into the background, replaced by a deeper, almost meditative hum of thought. You begin to realize that the ethical puzzles you've just witnessed are not isolated, dramatic events but mirror images of the countless decisions you make every day. Every small choice, whether to share a kind word, to stand up for someone, or even to take a moment to pause before acting, carries with it a quiet weight, a reminder that your inner world is constantly engaged in balancing right and wrong. In this state of quiet introspection, you recall moments from your past when decisions were not clear-cut, when you found yourself wrestling with conflicting feelings and ideas. Perhaps you remember a time when you had to choose between sticking with a group of friends or following your own heart, even if it meant standing alone. Such moments, though not as dramatic as choosing between one life and many, are still tests of your moral fiber. They remind you that, deep down, each choice is a brushstroke on the canvas of your character. And much like a painter who experiments with different colors and techniques, you learn and evolve with every decision you make. As you drift further into this reflection, the line between theory and everyday life begins to blur. The scenarios of the trolley problem and the ticking time bomb are not just thought experiments reserved for philosophy classes, they are extensions of the dilemmas you encounter in everyday life. Imagine a situation where a friend asks for your help on a difficult project, but at the same time, you are tempted to spend your evening doing something that brings you personal joy. The decision might not be as stark as saving one life over many, but it still involves weighing the benefits and costs of each action. The feelings of doubt, the tug-of-war between your own needs and those of someone else, resonate with the same uncertainty that you felt when picturing that runaway train. In these moments, it's important to remember that the very act of questioning, of pausing to consider the impact of your actions, is what makes you truly human. It is this capacity for empathy and critical thought that allows you to navigate a world full of moral ambiguities. You might think of it like walking on a narrow bridge suspended over a deep valley. Each step is taken with care, knowing that one misstep could have unforeseen consequences. Yet, with each careful footfall, you grow more confident, more aware of the beauty and complexity of the journey itself. There is also a part of this journey that speaks to the influence of others on your decision-making. Often, our choices are not made in isolation but are shaped by the people around us. The voices of friends, family, and even strangers can whisper doubts or encourage bold actions. You might recall a time when someone close to you challenged your beliefs or offered a different perspective, making you question something you had long taken for granted. Such moments, though sometimes unsettling, are invaluable. They act like gentle reminders that no matter how sure you are of your own thoughts, there is always a new angle, a different lens through which to see the world. This process of re-evaluating your beliefs can sometimes feel like being in a crowded room where everyone speaks at once. At first, the noise is overwhelming, and you might be tempted to stick to what you already know. But gradually, as you listen more intently, you begin to notice patterns and connections, small threads that, when pulled, reveal a much larger tapestry of ideas and experiences. It is in these moments of shared uncertainty that the real power of collective wisdom shines through. You learn that while you are the one making the choice, you are not alone in your struggles or your hopes. Each person, in their own way, is wrestling with the same fundamental questions about right, wrong, and the meaning of responsibility. As you continue to wander through these thoughts, you may start to see the influence of society itself, the way the media, institutions, and even popular culture shape our perception of what is acceptable or moral. Imagine scrolling through your social media feed and encountering a stream of opinions, each one confident and unwavering in its truth. In that digital world, it is easy to feel overwhelmed, as if your mind is being bombarded with an endless series of instructions on how to think and act. Yet, much like the ethical puzzles we've been exploring, these influences are not always as clear as they seem. They are often built on assumptions and simplifications, much like the stark choice between one life and many in our earlier dilemmas. Consider how, in many movies or stories, heroes are depicted as having all the answers. They step in during moments of crisis, pull levers without hesitation, or race against time without ever doubting their course. But in real life, heroes are not born with a clear, unshakable vision of what is right. They are ordinary people who, like you, have moments of doubt, fear, and uncertainty. Their strength lies not in knowing the perfect answer but in their willingness to confront the difficult questions head-on. This understanding, that no one has all the answers, and that every decision is a complex mix of hope, fear, and responsibility, can be both humbling and empowering. There is a strange kind of beauty in this ambiguity, in the way that uncertainty invites us to explore and learn. It is like standing at the edge of a vast ocean, where the horizon is always shifting, and every wave brings with it a new possibility. You might feel a twinge of fear at the thought of the unknown, but you also sense the thrill of discovery, the excitement of venturing into uncharted waters. Every choice you make is like casting a small stone into that ocean. The ripples spread out, touching shores you might never have expected, and slowly altering the landscape around you. This idea extends further into the realm of our collective experience. Think about the way societies evolve over time, how ideas that once seemed radical or even dangerous gradually become accepted, or how long-held beliefs are challenged by new discoveries. History is full of examples where people dared to question the status quo, to push beyond what was comfortable or familiar. These brave souls faced immense pressure, isolation, and sometimes even persecution, yet their willingness to think differently ultimately paved the way for progress and change. Their stories remind us that questioning is not a sign of weakness, but a mark of true strength and resilience. At times, you may feel that the burden of these decisions is too heavy, that the world is simply too complex to understand fully. In those moments, it can be helpful to return to something simple, a moment of stillness, a breath of fresh air, or a conversation with a friend who sees the world in a slightly different way. It is in these simple acts of connection that you can rediscover the joy of learning and the comfort of knowing that every person's journey is filled with uncertainty. The beauty of life lies not in having all the answers, but in the shared quest for understanding, the continuous search for meaning in a world that is as unpredictable as it is wondrous. As you let these ideas settle, you might begin to see that the choices we face are like tiny seeds planted in a vast garden. Some seeds grow quickly into vibrant flowers, while others take time to bloom, their beauty hidden beneath layers of soil and uncertainty. Each seed, no matter how small, has the potential to change the landscape of your inner world. And just as a gardener tends to every plant with care and patience, you too have the power to nurture your own growth, by embracing doubt, by asking questions, and by allowing yourself the freedom to explore the unknown. Sometimes, you might find that the hardest decisions are not those that are forced upon you by extreme scenarios, but rather the subtle, everyday choices that often go unnoticed. It could be as simple as deciding whether to forgive someone who has hurt you or choosing to stand up for your beliefs even when it means facing criticism. These seemingly minor choices are the building blocks of your moral identity, each one a quiet testament to the person you are becoming. Over time, they add up, shaping your character and defining your path in ways that are both profound and enduring. In the midst of all this reflection, you might also begin to wonder about the nature of control, about how much of your destiny is truly in your hands. The more you think about it, the more it seems that many forces outside of you are constantly shaping your choices. From the subtle nudges of social expectations to the powerful influence of cultural narratives, the world is full of voices that try to tell you what to do and how to feel. Yet, amid all these external pressures, there is a quiet, inner voice, a small but steady guide that whispers the truth of who you are and what you believe. Listening to that voice can be challenging, especially when it is drowned out by the clamor of the world around you. But it is precisely in those moments of clarity that you find the strength to make choices that are truly your own. It is not uncommon to feel lost or overwhelmed when faced with such profound questions. The challenge of making ethical decisions can sometimes seem like trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces, where every answer leads to new questions and every choice carries the risk of unforeseen consequences. Yet, this uncertainty is also what makes life rich and meaningful. Just as a river carves its way through the landscape, sometimes slowly and sometimes with sudden force, your journey through ethical dilemmas is a dynamic, ever-changing process. It is a journey of discovery, of learning to trust yourself even when the path ahead is shrouded in mist. There will be times when you look back on your decisions and wonder if you could have chosen differently, if a different path might have led to a better outcome. This is a natural part of growing and learning. Regret, while painful, can also be a teacher, showing you the delicate interplay between intention and consequence. In those quiet moments of reflection, you may find that the lessons of the past offer gentle guidance for the future, helping you to navigate the intricate maze of life with a bit more wisdom and grace. Even as you continue this internal dialogue, you begin to understand that the true challenge is not to find a perfect answer but to embrace the complexity of each moment. Life, with all its twists and turns, is a mosaic of choices, each one interconnected with the others. No decision exists in a vacuum. Every choice you make influences the next, setting off a chain reaction that shapes your journey in ways both large and small. And while it might be tempting to seek a simple, all-encompassing answer, the beauty of life often lies in the richness of the questions themselves. Imagine, for a moment, that you are sitting on the edge of a cliff overlooking a vast, endless ocean. The waves crash below, each one a different pattern, a different rhythm, yet all part of the same boundless expanse. As you watch, you realize that the ocean is never still, it is constantly shifting, evolving, and revealing new depths with every passing moment. In much the same way, your choices and the ethical dilemmas you face are part of a larger, ever-changing tide. They are not static problems to be solved once and for all, but living challenges that move with you, grow with you, and ultimately shape the person you become. And so, as you continue to navigate this journey of moral discovery, allow yourself to be both curious and compassionate. Embrace the questions that arise, even when they lead you into uncertainty, because it is in those moments of questioning that you truly learn what matters. Whether you find solace in a quiet conversation with a friend, in the pages of a well-worn book, or in the silent strength of your own heart, remember that every decision, Every moment of doubt is a step toward a deeper understanding of who you are. In the soft glow of twilight, as the day slowly gives way to night, you feel a renewed sense of connection to the world around you. The ethical dilemmas that once seemed so daunting now appear as threads in a larger tapestry, a tapestry woven from the many choices and experiences that define your life. And in that moment, you realize that the journey is not about having all the answers, but about the courage to keep asking questions, to keep exploring, and to keep growing. Every choice you make is like a small light flickering in the darkness, a beacon that guides you along your path. And while the way forward may sometimes be obscured by shadows of doubt, you know that as long as you remain true to your inner voice, that light will never be completely extinguished. It is a reminder that even in a world full of uncertainties, there is beauty to be found in the act of questioning, in the willingness to face the unknown with open eyes and a brave heart. As the evening deepens and the first stars begin to shimmer overhead, you take one last look back at the echoes of those intense dilemmas, the runaway train, the ticking bomb, and then turn your gaze toward the future. Each moment holds the promise of new choices, new challenges, and new opportunities to learn and grow. And as you step forward into the night, you carry with you the understanding that every decision, no matter how small, is part of the grand, unfolding story of your life. In that quiet moment, you let go of the need for certainty and allow yourself to simply be aware, reflective, and ready to embrace the beautiful mystery of what comes next. You realize that while the questions may never have a final answer, the journey of seeking them out is a journey worth taking, a journey that enriches your mind, nurtures your soul, and ultimately defines the very essence of what it means to be human. And so, as you walk away from the echoes of moral dilemmas and into the vast, uncharted expanse of possibility, remember that every step you take is a testament to your resilience, your compassion, and your unwavering desire to understand the world in all its complexity. The choices may be hard, the questions endless, but with each new decision you forge a path toward a future that is uniquely, wonderfully your own. Mary the color scientist, Mary had always known a world of shades of gray. Every morning, when she opened her eyes, there was a quiet routine, no burst of vibrant color, only a soft, even light that made everything look as if seen through a faded photograph. In her small apartment and her equally modest laboratory, the walls, the furniture, even the textbooks on her shelf were rendered in a spectrum that ranged from light silver to deep charcoal. For as long as she could remember, Mary's life had been defined by the predictable consistency of a monochrome world. Yet within that simple existence, she had cultivated an extraordinary mind, devoting herself to the study of light, wavelengths, and the nature of vision. Every detail had been carefully measured and recorded, every formula and theory memorized with precision. Mary's textbooks explained how different frequencies of light combined to create what others called color, how red light had a longer wavelength than blue, and how the scattering of sunlight in the atmosphere could produce the brilliant blue of the sky. But for Mary, those ideas remained abstract, an intellectual understanding of a phenomenon she had never experienced firsthand. Then came the day that changed everything. A breakthrough in neuroscience and optical technology promised something that had once been considered impossible, a chance to see color. After years of being told that her condition, this inability to perceive color, was permanent, Mary was finally invited to a special research center. The center's promise was as bold as it was hopeful. They had developed a gentle, innovative procedure to restore color vision. With her heart pounding in her chest and a mixture of excitement and apprehension swirling inside her, Mary accepted the invitation. In the quiet waiting room of the center, she sat with her hands folded, wondering what it might be like to step into a world that was said to be bursting with hues, a world that her studies had only ever described in careful, scientific detail. The procedure itself was smooth and deliberate. Skilled technicians explained each step in plain, comforting language. Mary was guided into a softly lit room, where advanced equipment worked in harmony with her own biology. Soon, She felt a subtle warmth in her eyes as the procedure concluded. The moment of truth arrived when she was led out into the daylight. Stepping into the open air, Mary blinked and looked upward. What she saw took her breath away. Before her stretched a garden, a riot of colors that seemed almost unreal. The sky above was a deep, vibrant blue that she had only ever read about, and the lush green grass was interspersed with bursts of vivid red, bright yellow, and royal purple from the flowers in full bloom. Every surface, every leaf, every ray of sunlight appeared to shimmer with life. It was as if someone had turned the dial of the world from off to full volume. In that overwhelming moment, Mary realized that the scientific facts she had studied for years, the meticulous equations describing light and color, had never prepared her for this sensation. The beauty of a sunset, the gentle gradation of light during the early morning, the unpredictable interplay of hues as shadows danced across a field, all of these were now part of her direct experience. At first, Mary wandered through the garden with a mix of wonder and cautious delight. The experience was both exhilarating and a bit unnerving. She felt as though she had stepped into a dream where every detail pulsed with meaning. The brilliant blue of the sky was so intense it seemed to hum with energy, and the green of the grass was lush and full, as if it were a living carpet inviting her to lie down and watch the clouds drift by. Every flower seemed to be alive with emotion, its petals unfolding in bursts of color that defied the simple, gray monotony of her former world. For Mary, the entire experience was like tasting a favorite meal for the very first time after a lifetime of reading recipes. The information was there, but nothing compared to the richness of direct experience. As the days turned into weeks, Mary's new world became both a field of discovery and a profound teacher. She began each morning by sitting at her window, watching the sky transform from the soft pastels of early dawn into the clear, bright blues of midday. The gradual change of color was mesmerizing, each shift a silent story unfolding before her eyes. When the sun began to set, the sky became a canvas painted in streaks of fiery red and deep purple. Mary would sit quietly for hours, simply absorbing the visual poetry of the changing light. In these moments, she realized that while her textbooks had given her all the scientific details about light, they could never capture the emotional, almost magical effect of witnessing these changes in real time. Mary's experience soon became a series of discoveries that touched every corner of her existence. She began to see that color was not merely an attribute of objects, but a language, a way that the world communicated moods, memories, and moments of beauty. The green of the trees wasn't just a physical fact, it was a reminder of life and renewal. The red of a rose was not just the result of a specific wavelength of light, it carried with it the passion and intensity of nature itself. Every color was imbued with a quality that could evoke feelings, spark memories, and even change one's perspective on life. One afternoon, as Mary strolled through a bustling park, she encountered a scene that encapsulated the transformative power of her new vision. A small bird, its feathers shimmering with an iridescent mix of blues and greens, flitted from branch to branch in a tree that stood in the center of a vibrant flower bed. Mary paused, captivated not only by the bird's beauty but by the realization that this was not just a visual phenomenon, it was a living, breathing expression of nature's art. The bird's ever-changing colors, as it moved in the dappled sunlight, made her think of a painter's palette where every hue blended seamlessly into the next, a living masterpiece in constant motion. In that moment, Mary began to understand a concept that her academic studies had only hinted at: qualia. Qualia referred to the subjective, personal experiences of perception, the way a specific shade of blue might evoke feelings of calm or the particular warmth of a sunset might stir emotions deep within one's heart. No textbook could fully describe qualia, for they are as individual and unique as the person experiencing them. For Mary, each new color was a revelation, a story that no one else could fully share. Even as she tried to put her feelings into words, she found that language fell short of capturing the full, ineffable beauty of what she was experiencing. There were moments, however, when the intensity of this new sensory world felt overwhelming. In the midst of a busy city street, with neon signs flashing and traffic whizzing by, Mary sometimes found herself retreating into quiet corners to catch her breath. The sudden bombardment of color and movement was a stark contrast to the calm predictability of her former life. Yet, even in these moments of sensory overload, she discovered an inner resilience. She learned to pause, to close her eyes for just a moment, and to let the world settle into a gentle rhythm before re-engaging with it. Over time, what had once been an overwhelming flood of new sensations transformed into a steady stream of beauty and wonder that she could both appreciate and manage. In the quiet hours of the early evening, Mary often found herself lost in thought as she sat by a calm lake. The water, reflecting the brilliant hues of the setting sun, appeared as a mirror of the sky, a seamless blend of red, orange, and purple that moved with a hypnotic grace. As she watched the gentle ripples distort the reflected colors, Mary's mind wandered to the idea that life itself was a constantly shifting canvas. Just as the colors of the day changed with the passing hours, so too did our experiences and emotions. The same way that no two sunsets were ever exactly alike, every moment of our lives was unique and irreplaceable. This realization filled her with a quiet sense of gratitude, a deep appreciation for the ever-changing, unpredictable beauty of existence. Mary's transformation also reshaped her understanding of herself. For many years, she had defined herself as a meticulous scholar, a person whose world was governed by logic, facts, and the precise language of science. Now, with her eyes open to the vibrant tapestry of color, she began to see that there was so much more to who she was. The analytical part of her mind, which had once been content with numbers and theories, now found itself enriched by the emotional, intuitive side that flourished in the presence of beauty. Her scientific work took on new dimensions as she began to see not just the mechanical properties of light, but the soulful interplay between light and life. In her laboratory, equations and measurements now danced in harmony with the memories of a breathtaking sunset or the gentle caress of a cool breeze on a summer day. This inner evolution was not without its challenges. There were times when Mary would catch herself lost in thought, questioning whether the colors she now saw were real or simply a trick of her mind. Could it be that the vibrant hues were a temporary illusion, a fleeting gift of a brain newly awakened after years of monotony? These questions sometimes led her to long hours of quiet reflection, during which she would revisit her scientific texts with renewed curiosity. With every reread of a familiar chapter, she found that the facts remained the same, but her understanding of them had deepened. The measured precision of wavelengths and light frequencies now carried an emotional weight, a reminder that while science could explain the mechanics of color, it could never capture the full, ineffable joy of experiencing it firsthand. Mary's interactions with others further enriched her journey. Friends, family, and colleagues were fascinated by her transformation, and many found themselves inspired by her vivid descriptions of a world they had always taken for granted. In conversations, she would explain that learning about color through books was like reading about a delicious meal without ever tasting it. Her simple comparisons resonated with those around her. A colleague once remarked that Mary's words made him see the world as if he were looking at it for the first time, a remarkable gift that transcended the boundaries of mere science. Such exchanges reminded Mary that her journey was not only about personal discovery but also about sharing the beauty of the world with others. In time, Mary began to document her experiences. She kept a journal filled with sketches, brief descriptions, and heartfelt reflections on the colors she encountered. In the pages of that journal, she recorded everything from the delicate pastel tones of an early morning sky to the bold, fiery burst of a sunset that seemed to set the horizon ablaze. Each entry was a small testament to the transformative power of color, a record of the moments that had reshaped her perception of the world. As she looked back over her writings, Mary marveled at how much she had grown. What had once been an abstract concept explained in academic language had become a living, breathing reality that touched every aspect of her existence. One particular evening stood out in Mary's memory, a night when the full magic of color seemed to merge with the quiet mystery of the universe. That night, as she sat on a park bench beneath a sky sprinkled with countless stars, she felt an overwhelming sense of connection with everything around her. The stars shimmered like tiny, brilliant jewels, and the night air was cool and full of whispered promises. In that peaceful moment, Mary realized that the beauty of the night was not diminished by the absence of the sun's light. Rather, it held its own unique splendor, a subtle, almost secret beauty that invited quiet contemplation. It was as if the universe had revealed yet another facet of its endless wonder, urging her to keep exploring and questioning. As part one of Mary's journey unfolds, she comes to see that her experience of color is a living bridge between two worlds, the precise, logical realm of science and the unpredictable, emotionally rich realm of human experience. With every passing day, she learns that understanding the world fully requires both a mind that can analyze and a heart that can feel. The bright, ever-changing palette of nature, the gentle interplay of light and shadow, and the countless moments of unexpected beauty, all of these weave together into the tapestry of her new reality. And in that tapestry, Mary finds not only the fulfillment of a long-awaited dream but also a deeper, more resilient sense of who she is. Mary's journey continued as she embraced every new day with a sense of wonder and a growing curiosity about both the outer world and her inner self. In the weeks that followed her first magical encounter with color, she began to see that every moment held a secret story. The city streets she once walked in routine now transformed into living galleries of art. Each building, each tree, even the reflections on puddles after a sudden rainstorm carried vivid details that invited her to pause and truly observe. Mary would stand on busy sidewalks for long minutes, letting the rhythm of traffic and the chatter of passers-by blend with the silent symphony of colors all around her. She found that the gentle green of park lawns and the shimmering blues of distant skylines evoked feelings of calm that no scientific theory could ever fully explain. For Mary, the color green became a symbol of hope and renewal. It reminded her that even after the darkest nights, fresh beginnings always emerged. The sight of a young sapling stretching its leaves towards the sun filled her with an unspoken promise that life, in all its forms, was constantly growing and changing. In a simple, almost childlike way, she began to connect these feelings with the natural cycles of the world. Just as the seasons changed, so too did her own understanding of beauty and meaning. In her laboratory, where Mary had once seen only numbers and precise measurements, the infusion of color began to inspire a more holistic approach to her work. Experiments that used light and optics were no longer dull exercises in calculation, they became opportunities to explore the mysterious interplay between energy and emotion. When measuring the wavelengths of light, Mary now recalled the breathtaking hues of a sunset or the soft gradation of a twilight sky. The formulas that once seemed like dry instructions transformed into bridges linking the objective world of science with the subjective realm of personal experience. Her colleagues started to notice the change in her work, as she began explaining complex theories with the gentle language of metaphor and memory. "It's like learning to listen to a song," she would say. "You can read the notes on a page, but the true beauty lies in the way the music fills your heart." Outside the laboratory, Mary's daily life grew richer in every sense. She became an active member of community art classes, where she learned to mix colors on a palette and experiment with various brush strokes. At first, her hand trembled as she dipped her brush into vibrant paints. It was as if every drop of color was a new word in a language she was still learning. Yet, with time and practice, she began to express herself more freely, letting her paintings capture the subtle interplay of light and shadow, of joy and melancholy. Each canvas was a record of her inner evolution, a diary written in hues rather than words. When she painted a landscape, it was not simply a reproduction of nature, but a celebration of her own rediscovered ability to feel. Her art spoke of the same wonder that had transformed her view of the world. It invited others to see beyond the obvious and find beauty in every fleeting moment. Mary's new way of seeing did more than change her art or her science, it began to influence how she related to the people around her. Conversations with friends took on an added depth as she described the everyday miracles she witnessed. When she told a story about watching the early morning light filter through dew on the grass, her words carried a weight of genuine emotion that touched her listeners. Her simple, heartfelt comparisons, likening the first blush of dawn to a soft promise or the deep blue of the evening sky to a gentle lullaby, resonated with those who had never stopped to notice the colors of their own world. Mary's enthusiasm was contagious, and soon others began to see that the beauty of life was not something to be taken for granted. In the simplest of interactions, a shared smile, a brief moment of quiet wonder, people found themselves reconnecting with parts of themselves that had long been dormant. At home, Mary's transformation was equally profound. The grey walls of her former life were now replaced by a carefully chosen collection of colored objects that brought warmth and character to her space. She adorned her room with soft fabrics in warm oranges, deep blues, and gentle greens, a living reminder of the beauty that now filled her days. Even the light that entered her room seemed to have changed. The morning rays danced across her walls, creating patterns of light and shadow that shifted with the passing hours. Mary began to see her living space as a microcosm of the world outside, a place where science and art, knowledge and emotion, coexisted in a delicate balance. Sometimes, late at night, Mary would sit by her window with a cup of tea, watching the world outside in quiet contemplation. In those solitary moments, she thought deeply about the nature of perception. She recalled the long years spent studying textbooks that detailed the physics of light, and she marveled at how little those pages could capture compared to the living experience of a brilliant sunset, or the subtle glow of street lamps on a foggy evening. In the silence of the night, her mind wandered to questions that were as old as time. What is real? How do we know what we see? And can the truth of our experiences ever be fully captured by words and numbers alone? Mary's thoughts were simple yet profound, much like the conversations she once had with her teachers, but now enriched by the emotional depth of her lived experience. One cool autumn evening, as the leaves turned golden and the air took on a crisp edge, Mary decided to visit an old, familiar park. The park had been a place of routine in her earlier years, but now it appeared transformed. The trees, dressed in shades of amber and red, swayed gently in the wind, and the soft rustle of fallen leaves created a natural symphony that filled her heart with peace. Mary walked slowly along the winding paths, letting the cool air and the brilliant colors wash over her. With each step, she felt a growing sense of gratitude for the opportunity to witness such beauty. It was as if every color was a message from the world, urging her to look closer, to appreciate the intricate details of life. In that moment, the park was not just a collection of trees and paths, it was a living poem written in the language of nature. In the midst of her many new experiences, Mary also began to explore the interplay between memory and perception. There were times when she would catch a glimpse of a color, a particular shade of blue in a window, a burst of yellow in a passing car, and it would trigger memories of a time when the world had seemed different. She recalled the days of her youth when life was simple and every moment was experienced in a muted, predictable way. The contrast between those old, gray memories and the new, vivid reality was both bittersweet and inspiring. Mary learned that memory, like color, was not a fixed thing but a dynamic, ever-changing landscape that could be reshaped by new experiences. Each bright hue she encountered added a new layer to her recollections, transforming them from static snapshots into living stories, full of emotion and possibility. As Mary continued her journey, she found herself drawn to the idea of sharing her transformation with a wider audience. She began to speak at local community centers and schools, where she explained her experience in language that was simple and relatable. Mary described how learning about color from textbooks was much like reading a map of a far-off land. You could know the names of the places, the distances between them, and the routes to take, But until you stepped into that land and experienced its beauty firsthand, it would remain an abstract idea. Her talks were filled with gentle analogies. She compared the experience of seeing color to hearing a favorite song live for the first time, or tasting a delicious dish after reading a recipe. In each story, she emphasized that while facts are important, the true magic of life comes from the feelings and memories that accompany those facts. Her audience, composed of young students and adults alike, listened with rapt attention, many of them inspired to look at the everyday world with new eyes. Mary's growing influence extended beyond her community. She began to collaborate with local artists, scientists, and educators, forming a small network dedicated to exploring the boundaries between objective knowledge and subjective experience. Together, they organized small exhibitions and interactive workshops where participants could engage with the ideas of color, light, and perception in hands-on ways. In one memorable workshop, attendees were invited to create their own color diaries by sketching the colors they saw around them and writing down the feelings each hue evoked. The activity was simple yet powerful, a way of capturing the elusive essence of personal experience. Participants soon discovered that even though they all shared the same physical world, their inner worlds were unique tapestries woven from countless, personal moments. Mary watched with quiet satisfaction as people began to see that the true beauty of life lay not in uniformity but in diversity, each person's perception a vibrant note in the grand symphony of existence. One evening, while walking along a quiet riverbank, Mary encountered an elderly man sitting on a worn wooden bench. His eyes were soft, and his face was lined with the gentle marks of time. They exchanged a warm smile, and soon, the man began to speak about the colors of his youth, tales of brilliant sunsets, lush gardens, and the simple joy of seeing the world in full, vibrant detail. Mary listened intently, her heart filled with empathy and understanding. In the man's words, she recognized the universal truth that beauty transcends time and circumstance, and that the capacity to appreciate it is a gift shared by all, regardless of how or when it is discovered. Their conversation flowed easily, a reminder that sometimes, the simplest moments of connection are the most profound. As Mary's story continued to unfold, she came to see that her experience of color was intertwined with the very essence of being human. Each hue, each shift in light, was a reminder that life is not a static collection of facts but a dynamic dance of change and growth. The lessons she had learned in her former grayscale existence, the discipline, the focus, the dedication to study, remained with her, but now they were enriched by the spontaneous joy of direct experience. Mary learned that true wisdom comes from embracing both the known and the unknown, from cherishing every moment as it comes, whether it is filled with brilliant color or gentle, quiet light. In time, Mary's journey inspired her to write a small book, a collection of reflections and simple stories that captured the wonder of her transformation. She wrote about the first time she saw a sunset that blazed with fiery red and soft lavender, about the delicate green of new leaves in spring, and about the subtle interplay of shadow and light on a rainy day. Her words were simple and direct, aimed at reaching the hearts of those who might never have paused to notice the beauty in their own surroundings. Mary believed that everyone, regardless of their background or knowledge, deserved to experience the wonder of a colorful world. And so she wrote with clarity and passion, inviting others to see that life, in all its complexity, could be appreciated with open eyes and an open heart. As Mary's book circulated in her community, she began receiving letters and messages from people of all ages. Children described how her words made them want to look out their windows and marvel at the sky, while adults shared their own stories of rediscovering beauty in the everyday. One young student wrote that reading Mary's story was like seeing the world for the very first time, and an older neighbor mentioned that her descriptions reminded him of long-forgotten memories of a bright, sunlit summer. These heartfelt responses reaffirmed Mary's belief that beauty, once discovered, has the power to heal, inspire, and connect us all. Looking back on her journey, Mary realized that what had begun as a challenge a world without color, had become a source of endless wonder and possibility. Her transformation was not merely a change in vision, but a profound shift in perspective. It taught her that while facts and figures could explain the mechanics of light, they could never capture the gentle magic that stirred the soul. Each color she now saw was a living reminder that the world was filled with countless mysteries, waiting to be discovered by those with the courage to look deeply and feel sincerely. In the soft glow of another autumn afternoon, as leaves danced slowly in the breeze and the sky shifted from bright blue to the muted gold of approaching dusk, Mary sat on her favorite bench and reflected on the journey that had brought her so far. She felt grateful for every moment, the excitement of her first glimpse of a vibrant garden, the wonder of a quiet snowfall transformed by the subtle play of light, the shared smiles and gentle conversations that had enriched her days. Mary knew that her life would always be a blend of science and art, logic and emotion, and that this beautiful mixture was what made her experience of the world truly complete. Her thoughts drifted to the future, a future filled with more discoveries, more shared experiences, and more moments of unexpected joy. Mary understood that her journey was far from over. Every sunrise promised new colors, every starry night whispered secrets of the universe, and every human connection held the potential to deepen her understanding of what it means to be alive. With each passing day, she resolved to keep exploring, to keep asking questions, and to keep sharing her newfound vision with the world. In the end, Mary's story became a quiet celebration of the human spirit, a reminder that even when life seems limited by circumstance, there is always the possibility of transformation and growth. Her experience of color was not just about the physical ability to see, but about the way that seeing can change everything, the way it can open the eyes of the heart, bring clarity to the mind, and illuminate the path ahead with a light that is both gentle and enduring. And so, as Mary continued to live her days in a world awash with color and meaning, she carried with her a simple truth, that every moment is an invitation to marvel at the beauty of life, to embrace the unknown, and to let the vibrant hues of experience fill your soul with wonder. Her journey, marked by both science and art, logic and emotion, was a testament to the endless possibilities that await those who dare to see the world not just as it is, but as it could be, a masterpiece of light, color, and unending hope. In the soft afterglow of yet another glorious sunset, as the day melted into a peaceful night, and the first stars began to twinkle in the vast sky, Mary smiled quietly. She thought about all the colors she had come to love, each one a gentle reminder that life is full of surprises, and that beauty often lies in the simplest things. With a heart full of gratitude and eyes wide open to the wonder around her, she whispered a silent promise to herself, to never stop seeking, to never stop feeling, and to always cherish the gift of seeing the world in all its brilliant, unrepeatable glory. And with that, Mary stepped forward into the night, ready to embrace another day of endless discovery, secure in the knowledge that while the science of light may explain how things shine, it is the light within us all that truly makes the world come alive. Beyond the classics, expanding the philosophical landscape, imagine setting out on a long, winding journey along a quiet country road on a crisp autumn morning. The sun is just beginning to climb over the distant hills, and soft light spills across fields of golden wheat and clusters of dew-covered wildflowers. With each step, you feel a gentle stirring inside, a sense that today, like every day, holds mysteries waiting to be discovered. As you walk, you find your thoughts turning to questions that have puzzled people for centuries, questions that challenge what you think you know about who you are and how the world works. You recall an old tale about a ship that has sailed for many years. Over time, every single part of that ship, the wooden planks, the nails, the sails, has been replaced until not a trace of the original remains. Yet, when you stand before it, you still recognize it as the same ship. This is the Ship of Theseus, a thought experiment that gently asks, if every piece of something is changed, is it still truly the same thing? Imagine, for example, a beloved toy you had as a child. As years pass, some pieces might break and be replaced, and yet the toy still holds all the memories of the happy times you spent with it. In the same way, the ship is not just a pile of parts, it is a living story, a collection of experiences and memories that give it meaning. It suggests that who you are is not fixed by the bits and pieces you are made of, but is continuously built from the moments you live and the memories you cherish. As you continue down the road, the landscape begins to change. The quiet fields give way to a small, charming village where every building seems to have a story of its own. In one particularly inviting house, you notice a door left slightly ajar, beckoning you to explore further. Stepping inside, you enter a room that feels almost too perfect, a room where every detail seems designed to create pure happiness. Here, you find the idea of the experience machine coming to life in your mind. Imagine a device that could give you any experience you desired, a day filled with endless laughter, a moment of pure adventure, or even a lifetime of gentle contentment. At first, the promise of such a machine is incredibly attractive. Who wouldn't want to live in a world where every feeling is perfectly joyful and every desire is instantly satisfied? But as you sit in that imagined room of perfect experiences, a small question begins to whisper inside: if every joy is manufactured and every moment is predictable, can that ever be as fulfilling as life that is messy, uncertain, and real? Picture yourself in a favorite restaurant where every dish is prepared exactly the same way every single time. While the food might always be delicious, you might miss the excitement of discovering a new flavor, the thrill of trying something unexpected, or even the lessons learned from a cooking mistake. The experience machine makes you wonder whether a life without challenge, without the risk of failure or the chance for surprise, could ever bring you the deep satisfaction that comes from truly living. It hints that sometimes the beauty of life is not in the perfection of every moment, but in the unpredictable dance between joy and sorrow, success and failure. Your mind then drifts further to an idea that feels almost otherworldly. What if the entire world around you isn't as solid as it appears? Imagine that everything you see, the trees, the houses, the sky, is not the work of nature alone, but the result of a grand simulation created by an advanced computer. This is the simulation hypothesis, a thought experiment that challenges you to question the very fabric of your reality. Think about your favorite video game, where every character and every landscape is designed to create an immersive experience, even though you know deep down it is just a game. Now, stretch that idea until it encompasses your entire life. Even if everything you experience is crafted by some unknown program, the feelings you have, the connections you make, and the memories you form remain real to you. The possibility that your world might be a sophisticated simulation is both awe-inspiring and a little unsettling. It asks you to wonder, if all of our experiences come from lines of code, does that make our emotions any less valid? And if the world were built by unseen programmers, would the beauty and pain of your life still hold the same meaning? As you walk on, these ideas, of the Ship of Theseus, the experience machine, and the simulation hypothesis, begin to blend together in your mind like colors merging on an artist's palette. They are not isolated puzzles to be solved once and for all, rather, they are invitations to explore the many layers of existence. Each concept acts like a small lantern, shedding light on different parts of your inner landscape. The Ship of Theseus teaches you that identity is a story, ever-changing yet continuous. The experience machine gently reminds you that true fulfillment may come not from an unchallenged life but from the unpredictable twists and turns that help you grow. And the simulation hypothesis opens your eyes to the possibility that reality might be far more mysterious than you have ever imagined. Imagine now that you pause by a placid lake at the end of a long day. The water is so still it acts like a perfect mirror, reflecting the sky, the trees, and even your own face back at you. In that reflective surface, you begin to understand that every moment of your life is connected. Just as the lake captures the image of the world above, your inner life is made up of every experience you have had, the joyful moments, the challenging times, and all the quiet instances in between. Even if every little detail of your physical self changes over time, the core of who you are, the sum of your memories, dreams, and feelings, remains constant, much like that steady reflection. This realization fills you with a sense of calm assurance that, no matter how many parts are replaced or transformed, the story of your life remains a unique, unbroken tapestry. Later, as twilight deepens and the sky becomes a canvas of shifting blues and purples, you find yourself in a small park. You sit on a worn wooden bench beneath an ancient oak, its branches sprawling overhead like the arms of an old friend. Around you, the park is alive with the sounds of nature, the rustling of leaves, the distant laughter of children, and the soft chirping of crickets beginning their evening song. In that serene setting, the questions you have been pondering seem to settle into the background, not as burdens to be solved, but as gentle companions on your journey. You think about how the Ship of Theseus reminds you that change is a natural part of life, and that every transformation only adds to the story of who you are. You consider how the experience machine makes you appreciate that the true beauty of living comes from overcoming obstacles and embracing surprises. And you marvel at how the simulation hypothesis, while challenging the certainty of your surroundings, ultimately reinforces that the emotions and connections you form are what give life its real meaning. As the stars begin to twinkle overhead, you remain on the bench, lost in thought. The gentle night air cools your skin, and you feel a deep sense of gratitude for the mysteries that make life so rich. You realize that these philosophical ideas are not meant to give you neat, final answers, rather, they are invitations to keep questioning, to continue exploring, and to never lose your sense of wonder. Every moment, the soft glow of the moon, the subtle hum of the night, the interplay of shadow and light, becomes a lesson in the beauty of uncertainty and the joy of discovery. You recall a time from your childhood when life felt simple and every day followed the same predictable routine. Back then, you never questioned the small details of your world, never wondered about the hidden stories behind every smile or every tear. But now, with the wisdom that comes from curiosity and reflection, you see that even the most ordinary moments are filled with layers of meaning. The sound of a friend's laughter, the warmth of a shared embrace, or the quiet comfort of a familiar song all carry a depth that you now understand is the very essence of being alive. Walking back along the winding road, your mind continues to weave together the threads of these ideas. You imagine that each thought experiment is like a small piece of a grand puzzle, an intricate mosaic that, when viewed as a whole, reveals the deeper truths of existence. The Ship of Theseus, with its message that change does not erase identity, reminds you that you are a living, evolving story. The experience machine, with its allure of perfect, preset joy, gently warns you that life's true richness comes from its imperfections and surprises. And the simulation hypothesis, with its mind-bending suggestion that reality might be constructed by unknown forces, inspires you to look beyond the surface and embrace the mystery of it all. In your heart, you begin to see that the journey of life is not about finding all the answers but about cherishing every question and every moment of wonder. Just as a painter creates a masterpiece stroke by stroke, well, life is built from countless experiences, each one unique, each one irreplaceable. Even the challenges, the setbacks, and the moments of doubt add their own special color to the canvas of your existence. As you near the end of the day, the soft glow of the setting sun casts long shadows on the road. The sky, painted in hues of deep red and gentle lavender, seems to whisper that every ending is also a beginning. With a quiet smile, you take a deep breath and continue forward, feeling the steady rhythm of your own footsteps as they merge with the melody of the world around you. You know that tomorrow will bring new questions, new experiences, and new colors to add to your ever-growing tapestry of life. In that lingering twilight, the ideas you have contemplated become like a gentle lullaby, a reminder that life is a vast, open journey filled with mystery, beauty, and endless possibility. The questions of identity, fulfillment, and reality are not puzzles to be solved once and for all, but are the ongoing dialogue that shapes your every step. You realize that even if the world were a carefully crafted simulation, the feelings it evokes, the memories you create, and the love you share remain as genuine and profound as anything that could be measured or calculated. As you finally settle down for the night, the cool air wraps around you like a comforting blanket. In the stillness, your mind replays the day's journey, the simple questions that led you to deep reflections, the small wonders that made you pause and smile, and the profound ideas that now shine like distant stars. You drift into sleep with the quiet understanding that every day is a chance to explore, to learn, and to grow. The path ahead may be long and filled with uncertainties, but it is also a road paved with the promise of discovery. And so, under a sky filled with countless shimmering stars, you close your eyes knowing that these ideas, the gentle challenge of the Ship of Theseus, the tempting yet thought-provoking promise of the experience machine, and the awe-inspiring mystery of the simulation hypothesis, are all part of the vast adventure of living. They are like beacons guiding you through the dark, inviting you to never stop asking questions, to never stop seeking the beauty hidden in every moment, and to embrace life with an open, curious heart. You continue your journey along that winding road, and the questions you encountered earlier keep echoing in your mind. The ideas of change, perfect pleasure, and the nature of reality swirl together like the colors of a sunset, each one inviting you to see the world anew. As you walk, you remember that the Ship of Theseus taught you that things are not fixed by their parts alone, but by the continuous story that they create. You recall how, when every piece of an old ship is replaced, the ship remains the same because it carries with it the memories of every storm it has weathered and every journey it has undertaken. This thought fills you with a quiet wonder. If you yourself have changed so much over the years, learning, growing, evolving, what is it that truly makes you you? Is it the sum of your physical parts, or is it that ever-evolving narrative of experiences, hopes, and memories that shapes your identity? The answer, you begin to suspect, lies not in an absolute truth but in the ongoing process of becoming. Like a river that carves its way slowly through the land, you are in constant flux. Every smile you share, every tear you shed, every challenge you overcome adds a new stroke to the canvas of your life. And yet, there is a core within you that remains untouched, a quiet, steady flame that persists regardless of change. This idea comforts you as you imagine that even if the external world were to shift dramatically, the essence of who you are would endure like the gentle glow of a faraway lighthouse. As twilight deepens, you find yourself in a secluded grove where the soft murmur of a nearby stream mingles with the rustle of leaves overhead. The cool air carries the scent of earth and pine, and you pause to sit on a mossy rock. In that stillness, your thoughts drift to the experience machine, the notion of a device that could grant you endless, perfectly engineered happiness. You remember the temptation it once held, a life free of pain, worry, and disappointment, where every desire was met without effort. Yet you also recall the quiet lesson that true fulfillment is born not from unchallenged pleasure but from the unpredictable mix of joy and sorrow that marks real living. You think of a time when you attempted something new, perhaps a small risk taken in the hope of personal growth. The outcome was uncertain, and though it sometimes led to disappointment or hardship, it also brought unexpected rewards, a newfound skill, a deeper understanding of yourself, or even a simple moment of pure, uncalculated happiness. These memories remind you that the beauty of life is found in its surprises, in the way that even failure can be a stepping stone to something greater. The experience machine, with its promise of flawless delight, seems less appealing when you consider that the bumps along the road are what have made your journey worthwhile. They have taught you resilience, humility, and the ability to cherish success even more deeply when it finally arrives. Your mind then wanders to the most mind-bending of all ideas, the simulation hypothesis. You remember the thought of living in a world that might be nothing more than a highly detailed, computer-generated simulation. It sounds like the plot of a science fiction movie, a reality where every sensation, every emotion, every experience is the output of an elaborate program running in the background. And yet, even if that were true, you realize that the feelings you have would still be genuine. The love you share with friends, the warmth of a family embrace, the thrill of a first kiss, none of these would be diminished simply because they were, in theory, part of a designed experience. They are real because you feel them deeply in your heart. The possibility that your entire world might be an elaborate simulation does not strip away its beauty, rather, it layers an extra degree of mystery on top of everything. It makes you wonder about the architects of such a simulation and the intentions behind it, but ultimately, you conclude that whether the world is real in a conventional sense or not, the experiences you live are still yours, and they matter. In the fading light, these three ideas, the Ship of Theseus, the experience machine, and the simulation hypothesis, seem to merge into one continuous tapestry. They are not separate puzzles to be solved but interwoven threads in the fabric of existence. Each one challenges you to question what you take for granted, and to see that the world is far more complex and wondrous than it first appears. You begin to understand that life is not a static set of answers neatly tucked away in textbooks. It is a dynamic, evolving process that invites endless exploration. Sitting on that mossy rock by the stream, you let your thoughts flow as freely as the water that winds its way through the grove. You remember the first time you truly questioned the nature of your identity, a moment when you looked in the mirror and wondered not just who you were in appearance, but what made you feel alive. Perhaps it was the memory of a difficult challenge overcome, or the lingering warmth of a shared smile during a moment of hardship. These personal recollections form a mosaic that is unique to you. Just as the Ship of Theseus shows that a thing's identity is more than its individual parts, you see that your own self is a complex amalgam of all your experiences, even those that may seem small or insignificant. Each experience, whether joyful or painful, has added a new layer to your being, making you the intricate person you are today. Your mind drifts further, and you begin to wonder about the nature of perfection. The idea of an experience machine once tempted you with the promise of a flawless life, free from the sting of disappointment. Yet as you sit in the twilight, you realize that perfection might be a double-edged sword. Without the possibility of failure or loss, there can be no growth, no learning, and no genuine joy. It is the imperfections that lend texture to your life, the unexpected detours that lead you to new discoveries, the setbacks that force you to re-examine your goals, and the small, unplanned moments of beauty that take you by surprise. In those imperfections lies the truth of living, a truth that no machine, however advanced, could replicate with the same heartfelt authenticity. You come to see that true happiness is not a pre-programmed state but a constantly evolving experience, enriched by both the highs and the lows. The night deepens, and a gentle breeze stirs the leaves around you. You rise from your rock and continue walking along the narrow path, the soft sound of your footsteps blending with the nocturnal chorus of crickets and rustling branches. The road ahead is dark, illuminated only by the occasional glimmer of distant streetlights and the silver light of the moon. In that darkness, you feel a sense of freedom. The uncertainties of life, represented by the simulation hypothesis, no longer seem like threats but as invitations to explore the mysteries that lie beyond the obvious. The possibility that everything you know could be an intricate illusion does not rob you of meaning, rather, it deepens your appreciation for the beauty of the unknown. Even if the world were a simulation, the emotions that pulse within you, the love, the fear, the joy, the sorrow, are as real as they come. And it is in that recognition that you find a kind of peace, an acceptance of life's inherent complexity. As you walk on, you recall the simple pleasures that have always accompanied you, moments that have, without fanfare, shaped your understanding of what it means to be human. You remember the taste of a favorite home-cooked meal, the warmth of a well-worn blanket on a cold winter's day, and the quiet comfort of a shared conversation with someone who truly understands you. These are the experiences that have given color to your life, not in the literal sense of hues and shades, but in the sense of meaning and connection. They are the tangible proof that, regardless of the grand philosophical questions swirling around you, there is beauty in the everyday, a beauty that arises from living, loving, and growing. You find yourself approaching a small bridge that arches gracefully over a gently flowing stream. Stopping at the railing, you peer down into the water. The stream is alive with movement, its surface shimmering with reflections of the moon and the surrounding trees. The water moves with a quiet determination, carving its path through the landscape even as it encounters obstacles. It reminds you that change is constant and inevitable, yet there is beauty in that very persistence. Like the stream, you too are on a journey that will sometimes be smooth and sometimes rough, but that always moves forward. In that moment, you understand that every step you take, every decision you make, is part of a larger process of becoming. The small struggles and the tiny victories, like droplets in the stream, all contribute to the course of your life. As you cross the bridge and continue along the path, you notice that the night has grown richer with stars. The sky, a deep expanse of indigo, is dotted with countless points of light that twinkle with quiet brilliance. Each star seems to hold a story, a reminder that even in the vast, mysterious universe, there is order, beauty, and meaning. You feel a sense of humility as you gaze upward, aware that the same cosmic forces that govern the birth of stars also shape your own destiny. The simulation hypothesis flits across your mind again, not as a source of fear, but as a reminder that the universe is full of wonders that science and art have yet to fully explain. It suggests that every moment of life, no matter how small, is connected to something far larger and more profound than you can imagine. In the soft glow of starlight, you begin to piece together the lessons of the day. The Ship of Theseus has taught you that change is the essence of life, that your identity is not tied to a single, immutable state but is continuously rewritten with every experience. The experience machine has shown you that while the allure of perfect, effortless joy is strong, true fulfillment comes from the real, sometimes difficult, moments that allow you to learn and grow. And the simulation hypothesis, with all its cosmic mystery, has opened your eyes to the possibility that reality may be more layered and intricate than it appears, yet regardless of how it is constructed, the emotions you feel remain real and powerful. As you near the end of your journey for the night, you find a quiet clearing where the gentle hum of nature seems to lull the world into a peaceful silence. Here, you sit on a fallen log and let your mind wander through the events of the day. You reflect on the many small wonders you have encountered, a whispered conversation with a passing traveler, the delicate fragrance of night-blooming flowers, the soft rustle of leaves stirred by a gentle wind. Each of these moments, no matter how brief, has added a new layer of meaning to your life. You realize that the philosophical puzzles you have contemplated are not meant to provide definitive answers but to enrich your experience of living. They are like sparks that kindle your curiosity, urging you to see that every moment is an opportunity to learn, to feel, and to grow. In that reflective state, you feel a deep gratitude for the journey itself. The questions you have asked today have not left you with a sense of disquiet, instead, they have filled you with a quiet determination to keep exploring the mysteries of life. You understand that every step along the winding road, every challenge and every joy, is part of an endless tapestry that makes up your unique story. And as you prepare to leave the clearing and make your way back home, you carry with you the gentle light of those insights, a light that promises to guide you through the uncertainties of tomorrow, just as it has illuminated your path tonight. With a final glance at the starry sky, you rise and continue along the road, your heart light and your mind buzzing with possibility. The night air is cool and refreshing, and each footstep feels like a celebration of the life you are living, a life filled with change, surprise, and endless wonder. Even if the answers to the great questions remain elusive, you know that the journey of questioning itself is what makes your life vibrant and full of meaning. As you near your home, the soft glow of streetlights casts long shadows on the pavement, and you feel a sense of peaceful resolution. The ideas of identity, perfect happiness, and the nature of reality may continue to challenge you in the days to come, but now you understand that these challenges are what make life worthwhile. You have learned that every moment, every decision, every setback, every triumph, is a vital part of your personal narrative. And as you unlock your door and step into the warmth of your familiar home, you do so with the comforting knowledge that no matter how much the world may change, the light of your inner journey will always guide you. Under the quiet watch of the night, as you finally settle down and prepare for sleep, the reflections of the day remain with you, a soft, lingering echo of the wisdom you have gathered. The Ship of Theseus, the experience machine, and the simulation hypothesis continue to whisper their gentle questions, inviting you to never stop wondering, and to embrace the beautiful, unpredictable journey of life. And with that thought, you close your eyes, ready to dream of tomorrow's adventures and the endless possibilities that lie ahead. Synthesis and reflections. Imagine that after a long journey through ideas and questions, through thought experiments that challenged everything you once took for granted, you finally arrive at a quiet clearing where all the threads of your experiences begin to weave together into one soft, gentle tapestry. You have wandered far in the world of ideas, questioning whether your senses can be trusted, whether a life of unchallenged pleasure is truly worth living, and even whether the reality around you might be nothing more than an elaborate simulation. Now, at the final stretch of your journey, you find yourself reflecting on all you have seen, heard, and felt, and you come to understand that the true beauty of life lies not in having all the answers but in embracing the mystery of each question. You remember the early days when you first heard the unsettling possibility that the very foundation of your reality could be questioned, when the thought of a brain in a vat made you wonder if every sight and sound was nothing more than a carefully crafted illusion. At that time, the idea seemed almost too wild to consider. Yet, over time, it planted a seed of curiosity in your heart, a seed that grew into a relentless desire to explore, to doubt, and ultimately to discover that even if your senses could be deceived, the feelings they produced were uniquely your own. That realization, though it came wrapped in uncertainty, became the first gentle step on your path toward deeper understanding. As you continued, you encountered the stark moral dilemmas of the trolley problem, a puzzle that forced you to weigh the value of human life against cold, hard numbers. In those moments of split-second decisions, you learned that ethics is never as simple as counting lives. The painful choices you imagined, the deep empathy you felt for every person caught in the dilemma, taught you that true morality lives in the heart and is nurtured by the willingness to bear responsibility. It is in those agonizing moments of moral conflict that you discovered how delicate and precious each human life is, and how every choice, no matter how small, ripples outward to affect others in ways you might never fully understand. Then came the story of Mary, a scientist who, despite knowing every fact about color and light, had never experienced its vibrant beauty until one day her world burst forth in hues she had only read about in textbooks. Mary's transformation was a revelation. It showed you that knowledge, no matter how detailed, cannot compare to the wonder of direct experience. You learned that the warmth of a sunrise, the deep blue of the ocean, and the subtle gradations of a gentle afternoon are not merely data to be recorded but emotions to be felt deeply. Mary's journey from a colorless existence to one illuminated by the full spectrum of life reminded you that the world is richer and more profound when you allow yourself to truly feel, rather than merely know. Now, as you stand in the quiet clearing of your mind, you also recall the ideas that stretched your imagination even further, the possibility that your entire world might be a simulation. The simulation hypothesis, with its suggestion that every moment, every emotion, and every memory might be generated by lines of intricate code, both unsettled and inspired you. Even if the world were the product of a vast, cosmic program, you realized that your feelings remain genuine because they are lived in your heart. Whether your reality is real in the traditional sense or is a finely crafted illusion, the love, the sorrow, the joy, and the wonder you experience are as authentic as any truth can be. In this reflective moment, you begin to see that these seemingly disparate ideas, whether the unsettling doubts about perception, the weight of moral decisions, the awakening to beauty, or the vast possibility of simulated existence, are all parts of the same great inquiry into what it means to be alive. They are not isolated puzzles meant to be solved and then forgotten. They are ongoing companions that challenge you to keep questioning, and to remain curious, even when life seems comfortable or certain. Imagine sitting by a calm lake at dusk. The water is perfectly still, a mirror to the deepening sky above, and you see reflected there not only the beauty of nature, but also the subtle lines of your own face, lines that tell the story of all you have experienced. The lake, with its quiet surface, reminds you that even when every detail of the world changes, there is a constant beneath it all, a steady inner light that remains true to who you are. This inner light is not found in the unchanging facts of a textbook, but in the heartfelt memories of every challenge you faced, every joy you celebrated, and every question you dared to ask. It is the sum of all your experiences, a mosaic built from moments both ordinary and extraordinary. In that stillness, you recall the moments when you were forced to make choices that seemed impossible. The trolley problem, with its gut-wrenching decisions, showed you that life often demands sacrifice and that every decision has consequences that spread far beyond the moment itself. You remember the heavy feeling in your chest as you contemplated the fate of those imagined lives, a reminder that ethics is not a matter of simple calculations but of deep, often painful empathy. It taught you that true moral understanding comes not from abstract reasoning alone but from the willingness to engage with the messy, complicated reality of human existence. You also remember the transformation of Mary, whose sudden immersion in color was like the unveiling of a secret world. Before that moment, she lived in a realm where everything was muted and predictable. But once she stepped into the light of real experience, every color seemed to sing a song of life, a song that was impossible to capture in words alone. Her story showed you that the gap between knowing and feeling is vast and that the most profound truths are those that touch your soul rather than just your mind. It is a reminder that sometimes, the most important lessons come not from facts or theories but from the quiet moments when you simply let yourself experience the world as it is. Now, as you continue your reflections, you think about the simulation hypothesis once again. The idea that your entire existence could be a grand, cosmic simulation might seem like something out of a fantastical story. And yet, it has a strange kind of beauty. Even if your world is constructed by unseen algorithms, it does not diminish the authenticity of your experiences. Your laughter, your tears, the simple pleasure of watching a sunset, all of these remain real because they are felt with your whole being. The hypothesis invites you to look past the surface, to wonder about the nature of reality, and to accept that sometimes, mystery is not something to be feared but something to be embraced. It tells you that whether the world is made of matter or of code, the emotions that give life its richness are as genuine as the stars in the sky. In the soft glow of the evening, you begin to synthesize all these ideas. They are like different colors on an artist's palette, each one distinct yet capable of blending into a beautiful, harmonious whole. You realize that life is not about finding a single, definitive answer to the big questions but about learning to live with the questions themselves. It is in the act of questioning, of continuously seeking understanding, that you truly grow. Each thought experiment, the doubts about perception, the ethical dilemmas, the awakening to beauty, and the exploration of simulated reality, has contributed to your understanding of what it means to be human. They have taught you that the journey of life is as important as the destination and that every step along the way adds to the richness of your inner world. As you stand in that clearing, you feel a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the questions that have challenged you, for the moments of wonder that have uplifted you, and for the resilience that has carried you through times of uncertainty. You realize that these experiences have not led you to a final, unchanging truth but have instead opened up a vast landscape of possibility, a landscape where every day brings new challenges and new opportunities to learn and feel more deeply. You remember the voices of those who have accompanied you on this journey, friends who have shared in your wonder, teachers who have guided your questioning, and even strangers whose brief smiles have added unexpected joy to your days. Their voices, echoing through the corridors of your memory, remind you that you are not alone in your quest for meaning. Every human being is on their own journey of discovery, each one adding their own unique brushstroke to the grand canvas of existence. The collective experience of questioning and exploring is what binds us together, creating a shared tapestry of hope, struggle, and ultimately, of love. In that moment, as the stars begin to fill the sky with their gentle light, you come to understand that the final segment of your journey is not an end at all, but a transition, a bridge from one way of living to another. The ideas that have accompanied you thus far are not closed chapters but open pages, waiting for you to write the next part of your story. You recognize that every philosophical puzzle you have encountered is a stepping stone, a guide that encourages you to continue seeking, to continue questioning, and to continue growing. They have shown you that the answers are not as important as the questions themselves, that the true beauty of life lies in its endless capacity for wonder and discovery. As the cool night air wraps around you and the soft murmurs of the world settle into a quiet lullaby, you feel an inner calm. The journey you have undertaken has changed you in subtle, profound ways. You are no longer the person who once accepted things at face value. Instead, you have learned to see the layers beneath the surface, to appreciate the interplay between certainty and mystery, and to embrace the unpredictable nature of life. The questions that once seemed intimidating now fill you with a sense of purpose. They are the very fuel that drives you to live fully, to love deeply, and to keep seeking the unknown. In this final hour of reflection, you let yourself drift through the myriad of experiences that have shaped your path. You think of the quiet mornings spent pondering the nature of perception, the heated debates over moral dilemmas that left your heart pounding, and the silent, awe-struck moments when beauty revealed itself in unexpected ways. Each memory is a gentle reminder that every experience, no matter how fleeting, has contributed to the magnificent tapestry of your existence. You recognize that life, with all its twists and turns, is not meant to be understood in one grand sweep but savored in countless small moments of clarity and wonder. Now, as you prepare to close your eyes and let the gentle darkness carry you into sleep, you hold on to the comforting thought that the journey of inquiry never truly ends. Even as you rest, your mind continues to wander through the vast, uncharted landscapes of possibility, always seeking, always growing. The final segment of your journey is, in a sense, a promise to never stop questioning, to always remain open to the beauty of uncertainty, and to embrace every moment as an opportunity to learn more about the world and about yourself. In that serene, contemplative silence, you understand that the questions you have explored are not burdens to be solved once and for all but gifts that enrich your life. They are the gentle whispers that remind you of the infinite wonder of existence, urging you to see that every challenge, every joy, every fleeting moment is a precious part of the grand adventure that is your life. And so, with a heart full of quiet determination and a mind open to the mysteries of tomorrow, you step forward into the new day, carrying with you all the wisdom, all the questions, and all the beauty that your journey has bestowed. As the first light of dawn begins to seep over the horizon, you find yourself emerging from the deep reflections of the night into a new day, a day that carries with it the quiet promise of fresh questions and untold wonders. The journey that has brought you to this point has been long and winding, marked by moments of intense questioning, bittersweet discovery, and gentle revelations that have gradually illuminated the vast tapestry of your inner world. Now, in this final stretch of your reflective expedition, you stand at the threshold of a profound understanding that life itself is not defined by any single answer but is an ever-unfolding story written in the language of experience, emotion, and perpetual curiosity. In the cool, early light, you recall the images that have danced in your mind throughout your journey. There was the image of the ancient ship, the Ship of Theseus, whose every plank and nail had been replaced over time, yet still retained the soul of its past. That image taught you that change, far from erasing identity, adds depth to it. You began to see yourself as a living narrative, a person continuously shaped by experiences, memories, and the quiet persistence of hope. No matter how many pieces of your old self were replaced or transformed, there remained a constant, a core essence that tied together every fragment of your being. As you move forward, your thoughts turn to the idea of the experience machine, a seductive promise of unblemished pleasure and effortless happiness. The allure of a life where every desire is instantly met once again tempted your mind with visions of perfect, unchanging bliss. Yet, deep down, you understood that such a world would be hollow. The unpredictable, often painful, journey that brings both struggle and triumph is what imbues life with its richest meaning. You remember the taste of victory after a hard-fought challenge and the lessons learned in moments of despair. These experiences, with all their imperfections, have built the resilient spirit within you. The thought of an existence devoid of those learning curves now seems like a pale imitation of true life, a life that is full not because it is easy, but because it is real and complete in its unpredictability. The simulation hypothesis, with its mind-bending suggestion that all you see might be nothing more than an intricate program running in some vast cosmic computer, still lingers at the edges of your thoughts. Even if you entertain the possibility that the universe is a carefully constructed illusion, you come to realize that the feelings and emotions you experience are not diminished by their potential origin. Love, pain, joy, and sorrow, all these remain authentic because they are felt deeply, regardless of the medium through which they are delivered. In the quiet hours of introspection, you allow yourself to wonder whether the reality you inhabit is as fixed as it appears or whether it is as fluid and dynamic as your own inner life. Such musings, far from unsettling you, fill you with a sense of wonder and possibility, for they remind you that the universe, whether built of matter or of code, is always far grander than any simple explanation could capture. Now, as you stand in the gentle embrace of a new day, the soft light of dawn seems to merge with the lingering shadows of your contemplations. You take a deep breath and recall the many lessons gleaned from your philosophical journey. Every question you have pondered, from the nature of identity and the value of authentic experience to the possibility that the world might be a simulation, has contributed to a richer understanding of what it means to be alive. You realize that these ideas are not endpoints to be solved or dismissed, rather, they are ongoing companions, much like the steady rhythm of your own heartbeat, constantly urging you to look deeper, to be more open, and to embrace the mystery of existence. Walking along a quiet path lined with dew-kissed grass and ancient trees, you let your mind wander freely. The gentle murmur of a distant stream and the soft rustle of leaves in the morning breeze create a serene symphony that matches the calm within you. In this stillness, you see that life is much like a vast canvas painted with countless hues. Some moments are bold and vibrant, bursting forth with joy and energy, others are soft and muted, filled with quiet reflection and tender melancholy. Every stroke on that canvas matters. They are the colors that give shape to your memories, your hopes, and your dreams. Even the darker shades, which might seem harsh or sorrowful at first, serve to accentuate the brilliance of the lighter tones, creating a balanced, intricate picture of who you are. You begin to think about the many faces of identity, the myriad ways in which change and continuity coexist. Each day, as you grow older and your experiences accumulate, you notice subtle shifts in your perspective, a shift in how you see the world, how you understand your own emotions, and how you relate to others. These changes, though sometimes imperceptible, are the very markers of a life lived deeply. They confirm that you are not a static being but a dynamic entity, constantly evolving and adapting. The lessons from the Ship of Theseus have taught you that while the components of your being may be replaced over time, the narrative, the story woven from your experiences, remains uniquely yours. It is this continuous story that gives you strength, a thread of coherence that runs through all the chapters of your life, from the joyful to the sorrowful. At times, the sheer vastness of these reflections seems overwhelming, and you find solace in the simple acts of living. You recall moments when, even amid the chaos of everyday challenges, a small kindness or a spontaneous smile has illuminated your day. These seemingly minor events, whether a shared laugh with a friend or a quiet moment of introspection during a busy afternoon, have shown you that beauty often resides in the simplest details of life. They are the gentle reminders that, despite the grand philosophical puzzles that swirl around you, the true essence of living is found in the connection with others and the capacity to appreciate each fleeting moment. In these moments, you understand that the pursuit of knowledge and understanding is not separate from the experience of love, compassion, and empathy. It is deeply intertwined with them. The questions you have carried with you, about the nature of reality, the value of struggle, and the meaning of identity, now seem to form a continuous dialogue between your mind and your heart. You have come to see that every question is like a stepping stone on the path to greater self-awareness. They have not led you to definitive answers, but they have enriched your journey, teaching you that it is the pursuit of understanding that makes life vibrant. Whether you ponder the possibility that your world is a sophisticated simulation or marvel at the quiet persistence of your inner self amid change, you know that each question is a treasure in itself, a spark that ignites curiosity and drives you to explore further. As you continue walking through a sunlit meadow, your senses come alive with the sound of birdsong, the scent of blooming flowers, and the gentle warmth of the sun on your face. The natural world around you seems to celebrate the endless interplay between light and shadow, joy and sorrow, simplicity and complexity. Each element of nature offers its own quiet wisdom, a reminder that life, in its infinite variety, is a masterpiece composed of both chaos and order. You reflect on how, just as nature thrives on change and renewal, your own inner landscape is enriched by the constant flux of experiences. The ups and downs, the successes and setbacks, all contribute to the vibrant mosaic of your existence. In this moment of harmonious contemplation, you begin to appreciate that the journey of inquiry is not meant to lead to a final, unchanging truth. Instead, it is an ever-evolving process, a gentle unfolding of insight and emotion that continues to shape you long after each question has been asked. The final segment of your journey, far from being a conclusion, is merely a transition, a bridge to a future filled with new mysteries to explore and fresh wonders to experience. It is an invitation to remain curious, to accept that uncertainty is an integral part of life, and to trust that every challenge faced and every question asked only deepens your understanding of the world. You think back to the long nights spent under starlit skies, when the cosmos above seemed to whisper secrets of the universe. In those quiet hours, you found comfort in the vastness of space, a reminder that, even though the questions of existence might never be fully answered, the quest for understanding is what gives life its profound meaning. The stars, scattered like tiny diamonds across the night, seem to tell a story of endless possibility, a story in which you, too, play a part. Each glimmering light is a testament to the infinite potential that resides in every moment, in every breath, in every heartbeat. And so you carry that sense of wonder with you, knowing that no matter how many questions remain, the journey itself is a source of endless inspiration. As you step forward into the unfolding day, you realize that the final reflections you have gathered are not meant to be a neat summary of everything you have learned. Instead, they are an open invitation to continue the dialogue with yourself and with the world around you. The ideas of change, authentic experience, and the elusive nature of reality are like gentle companions, always present, always encouraging you to look deeper, to feel more deeply, and to live more fully. You have learned that the search for truth is not a destination, but a continuous voyage, one that is marked by small moments of clarity amid the vast ocean of mystery. In the golden light of mid-morning, as you walk along a sun-dappled path lined with blooming wildflowers, you feel a renewed sense of purpose. The lessons from your journey echo softly in your mind, that even if life is fraught with uncertainties, It is the act of questioning that gives life its richness, that the interplay of joy and sorrow is what creates the true texture of existence, and that every challenge faced is a stepping stone toward a deeper, more compassionate understanding of both yourself and the world. You carry these lessons in your heart, like treasured gems that illuminate the darker corners of doubt with their gentle radiance. The day unfolds slowly, and you find yourself pausing frequently to absorb the beauty around you. The laughter of children playing in a nearby park, the murmur of a gentle stream cutting through a lush green valley, the soft rustle of leaves in the breeze, all these seemingly ordinary moments now shimmer with a newfound significance. They are the threads that weave together the tapestry of your life, each one contributing its own vibrant color to the overall design. You begin to understand that even the smallest details, the briefest encounters, are precious chapters in your ongoing story of growth and self-discovery. In a quiet moment, you settle beneath a large, ancient tree whose branches stretch wide into the clear blue sky. Here, in the soft embrace of nature, you allow your thoughts to wander freely. The philosophical puzzles that have accompanied you, questions of identity, the allure of perfection, and the possibility of a simulated reality, seem to merge with the natural rhythm of the world. You realize that just as the tree has weathered countless seasons and storms, you, too, have grown stronger with each experience. The tree's deep roots remind you that beneath the ever-changing surface of life lies a stable foundation, a core of values, memories, and dreams that remain with you, no matter how the world around you shifts. As you sit there, the gentle murmur of the wind through the leaves becomes a soothing hymn, a reminder of the eternal cycle of change and renewal. You reflect on the moments of your life when you were forced to make difficult decisions, when the weight of choice pressed heavily upon you. The moral dilemmas you once contemplated, the choices that seemed to split your soul with their complexity, now appear as integral parts of the mosaic of your existence. You understand that every decision, whether triumphant or painful, has shaped you into the person you are today. The lessons learned from those moments of ethical uncertainty have instilled in you a deep empathy and a quiet resolve to live with both courage and compassion. In the course of this long reflective day, you come to see that the journey of inquiry is not about arriving at a final, unchanging answer. It is about embracing the constant state of flux that defines the human experience. The questions that have accompanied you on this journey, about the nature of reality, the value of authentic experience, and the enduring mystery of identity, are not puzzles to be solved and then set aside. They are a part of the living dialogue that continues to evolve with you every day. You have come to understand that the beauty of life lies in its uncertainty, in the unpredictable dance between what is known and what remains hidden in the depths of mystery. As the day draws to a close and the sky turns from a brilliant blue to soft shades of pink and lavender, you feel a deep sense of contentment. The experiences of the day have enriched your soul, and the gentle questions that have filled your mind now feel like old friends, familiar, comforting, and full of quiet wisdom. You know that the journey of self-discovery and inquiry will never truly end. It is an endless voyage, a continuous process of learning, questioning, and growing. With every new day, you will encounter fresh mysteries and unexplored wonders, and you will meet them with an open heart and a curious mind. In the final moments before night falls, you stand at the edge of a meadow, watching the last rays of sunlight dance across the landscape. The sky, now painted in deep hues of purple and gold, seems to whisper that even as one chapter closes, another is about to begin. You take a deep, steadying breath and feel the quiet strength of your inner light, a light that has been kindled by every question asked, every challenge faced, and every moment of wonder embraced. It is a light that assures you that no matter how many puzzles remain unsolved, the beauty of life is found in the journey itself, the endless search for meaning, the deep connections forged along the way, and the silent, unwavering promise of hope. With the arrival of night, as the first stars begin to twinkle overhead and the world around you settles into a gentle, contemplative hush, you step forward into the future with gratitude and resolve. The reflections of the day, the lessons learned, and the quiet acceptance of life's infinite mystery all come together to form a solid foundation on which you can build the next chapter of your existence. You are aware that the journey ahead will be filled with new questions and challenges, but you also know that every step, every experience, will add its own unique color to the tapestry of your life. And so, as you close your eyes and let the soft darkness of the night embrace you, you carry within you the wisdom of all that you have discovered. The final segment of your journey is not a conclusion but a beginning, a promise that you will continue to seek, to wonder, and to grow. It is a gentle reminder that the true essence of life lies not in the certainty of answers but in the beauty of the questions that drive you onward. In that quiet space between waking and dreaming, you find solace in the knowledge that your inner light will continue to guide you through every twist and turn, every joy and sorrow, every challenge and triumph. As sleep finally takes you, you drift into dreams that are filled with the soft glow of countless stars, each one a symbol of the endless possibilities that await you. The journey of inquiry, with all its questions and mysteries, lives on in your heart, a constant source of inspiration and hope. And in that peaceful, silent promise, you know that tomorrow will bring new adventures, new insights, and new reasons to keep asking the ever-present questions that make life so wondrously unpredictable and deeply meaningful.